No, but I was supposed to get with Joe.
So then you ask Joey if he's coming Tuesday.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, welcome, one and all. Better late than never, I guess. Today is January 3rd, 2023. This is episode 118 of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ. I'm your Pop Culture Warrior, and joining me tonight is our first of many special guest co-hosts here on the show. He is the soon-to-be host of WTF Nation Radio's newest show, The Sports Bar. Everybody, please welcome, give it up for the man in the bubble tonight. He is the actual King Smith. Yay!
Yay.
Hey, King.
Hey, what's up, man? Your bubble has gotten an upgrade, brother.
Yeah. The bubble or the man inside the bubble?
Both. Both.
Oh, God damn it. I just want everyone to be aware that it is King's fault. We are late and had so many No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. He was on time. For some reason, for those that could hear, my computer just decided that sound wasn't really necessary for this. I don't know. It was just like, you don't need that. You really don't need that. I mean, I feel like my colors are all, my camera was acting up. That I had to. What a mess. What is a Pop Culture Warrior episode without technical difficulties? We got to start the year the same way we've done it every year, which is apparently I forget how to push all the buttons when I take a week off.
Hey, do me a favor. Set the bar low so when I launch this upcoming week, I won't look as bad. How about that?
Yeah, that's what we do here. We try to make everyone look good. And yes, Heath is on point. Radar looks suspiciously different today. As you all know, Radar is no longer with us. Oh, that sounds terrible. No, he's launching his own show here at the station, the Smoke Pit, which will be coming soon. I think starts next Wednesday, if I'm not miscorrect. But here we've got King, the King. We got royalty in the house, and he's so real quick. Give us just a taste of who are you, and let's say like where's your geekdom at? I know you're here to do the sports stuff, but where's your geek stuff? Where's your geek flag fly?
All right, man. My geek flag fly around the average level of geekdom. Okay, I've been to a couple of cons. I've went to one with you. I'm going to Blurred Con this year, which is like the third annual Black Nerd Convention in 2023. I've already got my tickets. I've already got the hotel reserved for that, and I'm looking forward to that. I like the pop culture things around gaming, a little bit of anime. Like, I don't know the obscure names. I know like a lot of the popular stuff. Like, hey, I can rock with some Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, that realm. So I'm kind of right there, just above average. Not quite uncultured, not quite extremely cultured.
Gotcha. And so you are going to be hosting the new show Saturday nights. It's the Sports Bar. Do you want to give folks just a taste? What are the kind of things that you're going to be talking about? Do you have like segments in mind? Give us a snapshot of what to expect for that show.
All right, yeah. So come and join me live Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on WTF Nation Radio. We're going to be, it's going to be a chance for y'all to come in and talk about all things sports. You know, we just had the World Cup pop up. I don't know a damn thing about soccer. All right, but everybody was talking about it. Okay, I would like to, have that community engagement with the viewers of WTF Nation Radio, talking about sports, your favorite teams, what's happening across all the sports spectrums, news, highlights, things like that. And it's just going to be a place to pop in on Sunday nights when you need to avoid your significant other because they're getting on your nerves and you just want to talk about sports. Come on and join me over at the Sports Bar Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Will you be imbibing in beverage while you're hosting?
I will be imbibing in beverages. I'm also looking at having interviews and things with coaches, players on all different levels as well. Get some exposure into some areas or some leagues that may not have the big exposure that's out there. So tune in, y'all. Come
Very
over and
cool.
holler at your boy.
Very cool. Very excited. This is a long time coming. And obviously, we do know each other personally. And I've always said I think you have a great mind when it comes to sports and interesting takes. And so I really look forward to, watching, participating. And who knows, man, maybe we got to set up like a station-wide fantasy football league,
Yes.
get the people excited.
I would love to do something like that. Have like a watchers league, a listeners league or something. Have people come in regularly, talk trash, and try not to disappoint the people when everybody else comes in second and I'm always in first. I would love to do something like that. So for the people that's watching, if that's something that you'd like to do, hit us up.
Yeah.
Let me know, and we'll
Let us
get
know.
that going.
Yeah, really, it all boils down to this is a listener run station, right? I mean, it's obviously veteran owned and operated and whatnot, but what we do is based on what you guys want to hear. So this show has always been fluid. It's always been, adaptable and has tried to keep our folks entertained and have a good time. And I'm really excited to see what the sports bar. Sorry, I just saw in the chat. Last time there was a station fantasy football league, Radar won. Just saying. I mean, hold on. Let's see if we still got a. There you go. Sorry about it.
I like it.
All right, I'll give you that one. But yeah, so the idea that we're gonna have a sports show now is incredible. Man, I'm really super excited for it. I know that we're gonna have some amazing guests. I know we've talked privately about some of the guests that we want to get on, and some of the people you're gonna be interviewing. I see you have a nice shade of green behind you. Could I expect that there's gonna be some like green screen technology, like on like ESPN? There's gonna be like graphics flying around and all that stuff happening. Can we expect some of that?
Yes, absolutely. And so I was testing some things prior to coming live. I was doing my own personal live stream just prior to as well. And literally I got off and I didn't have time to take the green screen down. But I've been flirting with some ideas in OBS about having stuff in the background that's, license, like things that we can use without to pay a license for. Because look, I ain't got money to be paying for licenses and stuff out here, and I'm pretty sure WTF Nation Radio ain't just gonna be shelling out money for somebody that
You gotta earn
has
that
an
shit.
unproven product. Exactly. But no, man, there's some things that I'm looking at trying to do, inspired from you, inspired from some of the other things that I've seen with WTF Nation Radio. So I'm hoping to make you and the station proud.
Outstanding. Spanky wants to know, will there be dragons?
Hey, there might be some Dungeons and Dragons and
you never
all
know.
other kind of things. You never know. Tune in.
Yeah. So quick hey to everybody. So I usually say hi to everybody in the chats when we launch, and I was so frazzled. King got me so wrapped up and frazzled. So hey, Angry Elf, Rob, you're out there, man. Hey, what's up, bud? Shane Austin. Who else is out there? Mugshots, what's up, man? I see you there. Heath, of course. Got the actual King Smith in the chats. He's chilling out there. Who else we got? So Spanky, the sports bar. Man, you guys, you're showing up, man. We appreciate you. Jake Ford in the house. The name sounds familiar. I can't remember why. His name's very familiar. But Michelle, what's up? Good evening to you. Man, there's so much going on. Ooh, and of course, silly me, I'm over here and I don't got the Pop Culture Warrior chats open. Hey to everybody. Sorry, I should probably put that to mute. There it is. Hey, now we got the. I'm like, why I have a big missing space on my monitor? Oh yeah, because that's a thing. We got Pete. What's up, Pete? Mike, Pookie, all you guys. Oh man, you guys are beautiful. I love you. Mike said, "New Year's, same old issues." Yep. Flick the lights on and off. Believe it or not, real talk. What fixed well, first of all, what happened to my issues? Why that happened? No idea. What fixed it? Turned it off and turned it back on. Ta-da! Everything works. Ain't that a bitch? God bless IT and technology. Ain't that a bitch? But man, yeah. Scotty's neglecting us over here. I'm not neglecting my PCW chat. We love you. We appreciate you. Okay. So, given that, obviously, this is Pop Culture Warrior, no guest tonight. List of guests coming up. Super fucking excited for. Super excited. John Billingsley from Star Trek is next week. John Carroll Lynch, an incredible actor, not very well known by the name, but you see his face and you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that dude in like 1,000 things. He's coming up January 31st, and it goes on and on. We got some comedians coming up. It's gonna be a great time. Super excited for that. I want to ask the viewers and you, King, since we're here to chat. We'll ask the viewers as well. So go ahead and put in the chats, man. You get any good stuff for Christmas? You got any good gifts? Let us know. What's your favorite gift you got out there? Let us know in the chats. I'm curious. And King, so you kick us off, man. Any fun gifts for the holidays? What's something you were excited to receive?
Peace and quiet. I did absolutely nothing. I received a bit of a gag gift, and it's an inside joke that's not fun to explain here. But yeah, no, I got peace and quiet, and I absolutely loved it. I went down, spent some time with my lady in a hotel over Christmas, kicked our feet up, man, read a couple of chapters of some books, and relaxed. And it was what I needed and what I love, man. How about you?
I mean, honestly, spoiled. Stop trying to. There we go. A bit spoiled. Because I very lucky to have such an amazing wife and some really good friends, because they gave me gifts. Just saying. But let's see. My favorite thing I got. There is a funny story I got to share. Oh, this is a good one. I didn't think of it till just now, but I do have a really good story to share. Okay. I will say one of the coolest pop culture gifts I got, a good buddy of mine, Pete, I know you're out there. Thank you. You probably can't see it, but right over there, I got a set of Dragon Balls from Dragon Ball Z. I got the 7 Dragon Ball with the little stars in them. They're gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous. So cool. I've tried to make a wish. It doesn't work. So I want you to get your money back because you bought a bum pair of Dragon Balls. But very cool gift. The funny story. So I'm with my wife and some of her brothers and sisters came to visit for Christmas and we're opening gifts. And we like to take turns so that everyone can kind of appreciate every gift that's given. And so I go to open my gift and I unwrap it and I look at it and I go, I know what this is. And immediately in my mind, I go, my wife accidentally bought this. Like what she intended it to be was not what it is. Okay. So I open the gift and I see Lawnmower 3.0. Do you know what the Lawnmower 3.0 is?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Like their tagline is, your balls will thank you.
Uh-huh.
So I open this in front of her entire family and I go, thanks, babe. I'll get right on this. And in all sincerity, she thought she was buying like a razor for your face, which, I mean, I'm sure you could use it for your face, but that's not what it's designed for, folks. It is
Yours looks
designed.
like you could use it for your face.
It's designed for your nether realm. You know, it's designed to manscape. It was the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0. My wife, not speaking English originally, she doesn't get the term, you know, like manscape. She's never used that term. She doesn't know what it is. So she just thought it was the name of the company. And the fact that it's called a lawnmower didn't trigger any thoughts because she's never referred to that region as the lawn. So you know, it's just funny because she really thought she was buying me a face trimmer, and instead she bought it, which I was dying. I was dying laughing. I thought it was the funniest because I know it's unintentional, and it was hilarious. And then I had to explain it because her whole family's Spanish, so I had to explain it why I was laughing because everybody's like, "Why are you laughing?" So I had to explain it, and once I did, everybody thought it was hysterical. So thank you, dear honey out there. And as the Angry Elf says, it is actually a really good trimmer. As you can tell, I've put it to use. But it works really well. Works very well. Great gift.
Trimming the pelotas. Like, does that translate the same way, or is it different in Spanish?
Pelotas is more of like ball, as in the sense of like a ball. You would say, you know, like your huevos, you know, your eggs, you know, would be a more traditionally, if you were gonna like, I'm gonna shave my balls. It's
Okay.
you know, mi huevos. Let's see. I got people already saying something. Well, not really a major penetrate your face. She saw ads all over Facebook and Instagram for it. Yeah, that's probably where she's probably where she saw it. Cojones. Mugshot says cojones. That's right. Huevos. Hey, you guys sure know how to say balls in Spanish. The sports bar says, CQ, have you used the lawnmower on your Dragon Balls yet? I have. So anyway, so I thought that was really, really funny. So let's see some gifts. What do our wonderful listeners have gotten for Pookie says, waiting on my new PC like a child waiting for Xmas. Nice. Scott Rose has got the new Xbox. Congratulations. Xbox, the better brand. Only gift I got was some spicy gummies, and it was awesome. Nice, Pookie. Ooh. Nice. Mike Larson said, Pit Boss Pro Smoker and the Arc Gravity 5 casting reel. Okay, a pit smoker and a casting reel. Very cool. Greg got a PS5. Boo, Greg. Actually, the PS5 is pretty cool. Somebody said, I have friends, really? I got my CB flag. Oh, nice, CB flag. Mine in October. Who else is... I'm looking through. Can't use it as a beard trimmer. Wes Allen, can you use it as a beard trimmer though? You could. Whereas a traditional beard trimmer, you would get like all these accessories and different lengths. There's really only two options on it. Like it's like bald and a little bit of length. Like that's what the trimmer comes with. And it comes with a light. So you can light up dark areas, which is not something you would really need on your face, but I mean you could use it on your face. I
all right.
Probably
all
would.
right. Let's go there.
All right. Let's
go there. Would you prefer to have that lawnmower and use that, or get wax? Because look, I get wax. TMI, whatever. I enjoy.
Jesus Christ, TMI. What button ends the stream right now? It's like, one of these buttons.
It's something about metal being down near the area that makes me go, I'd rather just get waxed.
What's that metal? You mean like blades, like sharp things?
Yeah, like the metal blades.
I get that. This is not a conversation I was anticipating to have. Hold on, I'm having a sudden migraine all at once. Never thought I'd be having a conversation about waxing. I can't imagine that. I don't know. I can't imagine. Bro, I'm not one to be speechless, but literally, I think the speech cortex in my brain just malfunctioned.
Hey man, chat is backing me up. There's men out here that have gotten waxed. Hey, chat, let us know if you've gotten waxed down in another region.
Please chat. Don't let us know. I already know too much about all of you. I feel like, and that's just one more thing I don't need to know. So moving on, quickly. Okay. So obviously we're gonna talk some pop culture stuff, but really quick. What the fuck with 2023 so far? Like, it has been the craziest 2 days. I think, obviously Barbara Streisand. Was it Barbara Streisand? Not Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters. Thank you. Barbara Walters died tail end of 2022. Okay, we closed the book on that one. And coming out the gate, 2023. We got to talk about this NFL player, obviously, because you're the sports guy, and at this point, it's pop culture now. But like, first news comes out: Jeremy Renner, our beloved Jeremy Renner, our Hawkeye, our Avenger, fucking was mangled by a snowplow. If you guys haven't seen this story, it's ridiculous. Like, apparently he lives up where it snows like by feet, not by inches. And so his property, he has a snowcat. He drives that thing around. He clears his private roads and all that. Apparently it snowed a bunch. It was New Year's Day. Hops in the snowcat, goes to clear some roads, sees someone like stranded on the side. So he's like, all right, he goes to clear it. He jumps out, helps them out. And at some point when he went to jump back in, something happened. We don't know what, but it basically ran him over, mangled up his leg, apparently caused massive blunt force trauma to his chest. And he just released a picture actually a couple hours ago, not a detailed picture, but just kind of like a face shot. And he even had like bruising on his face. So like, he probably got roughed up, like rolled around because of this. Incredibly, the sheer just wow of it is that he shouldn't have survived. His leg was so mangled, it was just dumping buckets of blood. And the only reason he survived is because he happened to have a neighbor who's a doctor. And the guy ran out, applied a tourniquet immediately, and provided aid immediately, enough that they could chopper in rescuers and get him to a hospital. But if that guy's not a doctor and doesn't apply that tourniquet immediately, like, Jeremy Renner is dead. Like, he is no longer with us, which is crazy. He's had multiple surgeries already. He's in stable but still critical condition just because of the sheer amount of injuries. Like, that's rough. That is rough. And yeah, I see a bunch of you saying Ken Block, who's a famous, rally car driver, doing all that crazy stuff. He fucking died, man. And then I'm sitting there watching I had the Monday edition on my phone, like I do, and I got NFL football, Monday Night Football on the TV, and I watch a tackle be made. Pretty standard tackle, nothing catastrophic about it. Pretty simple, straight up tackle. I watched the kid get up, and I say kid because he's 24 years old, get up and just crumple to the ground. I don't know how else to just collapse and crumple to the ground. And man, we're I guess kind of numb to seeing people take a hit and get knocked silly. I mean, what happened to Tua and all these guys? But when he stayed down, and then paramedics start, and then the ambulance comes up, and then you got guys crying on the field, and you got people performing CPR. Like, that is unprecedented that anything we've ever seen. I mean, I know you didn't catch it when it was happening live, but when you did eventually catch up to it, what were your thoughts? Like, what were you thinking when you saw that? As a guy who played football semi-professionally, I guess you want to call it, but
yes.
What did you think?
Man, my heart sunk when I got the chance to see the footage, and also the way that the other players were responding to him as well, because there's been some hard hits where some people have gotten tackled hard and kind of laid there or seized up a bit, and you have that immediate concern for the guy that's on the ground. players will take a knee and things like that. But then, eventually they get the guy to recover. He's definitely got to come out the game, and then the games continue to be played. But what I saw when I eventually got the opportunity to see it were people crying, like grown men crying because of the severity of what had occurred. And man, like I'm pretty sure I felt just like a majority of the other viewers that watched that, not knowing who this young man is specifically, but seeing a player in a professional sport fighting for his life, man. It was tragic. It was unfortunate. It's something that, because of the nature of what the sport is, it can occur, and I wish the very best for him. I absolutely do.
Yeah, yeah. It was it was a weird, like weird emotions. You know what I mean? And then it again, like I think we're so programmed that like we've seen the hit. Okay, now get up and get off the field so we can watch football. Like you have that like almost that knee jerk reaction. Like okay, let's get back to football. And it's kind of like it took me a while to like really think about it. Like oh my god, like why? You know what I mean? Like, why are we so programmed to just be like, all right, damn, that sucks. Now get him up and get him off the field. And then when the time kept going, like, we went to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And you're like, oh shit, like this is real bad. Like this is really, really bad. And then, and really the craziest thing in my mind, I watched the whole thing live and I was fascinated by it. When the announcers there, the commentators were like, okay, he's in the ambulance, he's off to the hospital. We wish him the best and all that. And they're like, okay, we just got word that they're going to give the teams 5 minutes to kind of shake it off, warm up, and then get the game going again. And you're like they're showing the players in the field like bawling, crying. Guys are on the floor. Guys are in prayer circles, like, and you're like, they're gonna what? And then obviously the right call was made. The two coaches walked out to the center of the field. They shook hands. They talked, and they sent everybody to the locker rooms. And then the commentators again, like it's like they're always getting that delayed feedback. They're like, well, okay, I guess they're gonna take a short break, and then like, and obviously that was the end of it. They didn't let them come back, and I honestly think the NFL was like, all right, let's get back to the game, and it was the players and the coaches that are like, no, where there's a human being in crisis fighting for their life, we're not going to just walk out there and pretend like it didn't happen. And then kudos for them. Kudos for the coaches. Kudos for the players. It was the right call. Unfortunately, the NFL took over an hour from that incident to officially call the game. It was like an hour and 10 minutes, something like that, before they officially said, okay, yeah, we're going to postpone this game. Shouldn't have been that difficult. I mean, the minute you have someone dying, because that's what he was doing on the field, he was dying. They had to prevent him dying. They had to do things to stop him from dying. The moment that level of seriousness hits the field, you stop it. All right, let's pack it up. Let's call it. I mean, that's you. I don't know. I just like, I'm all for, hey, let's tough it out and let's, but that's a whole different standard. That's a whole.
Has there been any cancellations or suspensions of games due to an injury that occurred in the game? I couldn't think of one.
Not that I could ever think of, going back a long time. This is obviously so high profile, not just because it happened, but for it to be the Monday night game where everybody's watching, and such a high profile game was the Bills versus the Bengals for playoff standings and all this and all that. Like, so I think this one had a bigger spotlight than any other game would have. But even that being in consideration, I don't think, like, you hear stories about like during practices, like, oh, ambulance had to come out, somebody took a nasty hit, and the ambulance was called out, but nothing at like a national public scale like this, I think, is ever. Yeah, Mike Larson says Tua was the second worst, and they just played right after that. They just pulled him off the field and played right after that. Yeah. But again,
I don't know if y'all saw what happened to Nick Foles. Nick Foles got blasted in that Colts game, and the guy that hit him got up and like celebrated the sack, but he looked like he was about to die as he crumpled over, and he had a severe rib injury. Like I
mhm,
saw that hit and was like, I don't think you
yeah.
can pay me enough to get hit by a 300-pound
The dude
dude
was
in the
doing snow
NFL.
angels right next to him, which I because that was the Giants. I'm a Giants fan. I was watching that
Mhm.
game. I felt a certain way about it because you're like, oh, good sack. And then like your man's doing snow angels, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then like it pans slightly over, and right next to him, like Nick Foles was in convulsions, like was like literally convulsing. And I'm like, obviously, and that was I think it was Thibodeau or whatever his name was the one that did the sack. Like
Mhm.
obviously, I don't think he saw like his peripheral was not catching the fact that the quarterback was struggling to live right there. Because like if he did it knowingly, that's pretty bad. But I think he was just so excited about his sack, he was fucking around. But yeah, yeah, it's a bad luck. It's a bad luck. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This has been like, oh, you know what I think about? What was it? Alex Smith. Remember, he had his leg like mangled. I mean, they were talking about like snapped in like three different places, like ripped off the bone. Like his leg was mangled. Now, while that wasn't a life threatening injury, I mean, the severity of it, the nastiness of it was enough where you could have been like, yeah, I don't want to play today. You know what I mean? And yet, they continued on. Um, but man, that was tough. That was really tough. And obviously, for those that don't know the latest, he's sedated. They said he was alert at one time. They sedated him to allow, I guess they're doing like this thing called like hydro something therapy, something like it's almost like hyperthermia therapy, but it's not. But for it, he needs to be basically unconscious. So they've sedated him, kept him under. He's intubated, so he's got a breathing tube. And they're trying to just kind of reset his cardiovascular system, basically. But yeah, very, very scary. That Greg said, yeah, it was commodio, cardosis, contusion, cordis, something like that, where it just the right hit at the right time with the right pressure, with the right, it just reboot the system in not a good way. And it's unfortunate, but anyway, so yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy couple days, man. Like I was like, 2023 is our year, and it's just coming out the gate swinging. So let's hope that's the worst of it for a little while. 'Cause I need a break. I need a breath after the last 2 days. Jesus
Sir.
Christ. One last thing before we talk about some actual pop culture news. I just thought this would be entertaining. You're not expecting this, and the audience doesn't know any of this. So, like I said, we've known each other quite a while, and to educate the audience a little bit, myself and King, we often have debates. We often have fantastical debates, sometimes over meaningless things. We'll argue and debate back and forth. One of the long-standing traditions that King has put upon himself is that when I make a sweeping declaration and say something very profound or idiotic, he likes to keep track of it. He likes to keep notes. He likes to keep notes on CQ isms. And we've always joked that, at some point, one of us will be proven right. It's like what would you call it? Like trying to keep track of who's right, who's wrong. Is it a tally? What would you call it? You're the one doing it.
I like to keep track in my phone. I have a note called CQ isms. I just like to prove you wrong. You like to be right, and when you do, you have the smug look on your face. And I just like to be able to go, "Ha, you were wrong about that."
So I was curious, and I've never actually asked you this. I've never asked you this ever. Would you like to read off a couple long-standing, and we can argue it here and now? And I can either, because again, we haven't checked in on these ever. But I'm curious now. Live here on the show, let us see what sweeping declarations CQ has made. Which I'm sure that I'm always right.
All right. So I'll list this one. This was dated back in September 6th. Bitcoin will never hit the high it once was. And this was September 6th, 2022, 8:55 p.m. over Xbox Live. That's how detailed I like to keep these notes. When was it said?
He
What
had
were
just
we
farted
doing
3 minutes before.
when it was said.
So what I said, and I stand by this one still. And I feel like I said it a lot sooner, but that's when you officially recorded it, because I think I had said it a couple times until you finally like actually locked it in. But I said, yeah, Bitcoin, I don't believe, because at the high it was what, like 100 and no, it never got that high. It was like 60 something, 70 something.
Or close to 70, yeah.
Yeah, something like say like 70,000 per Bitcoin. And I stand by it. And by all means, if any crypto heads out there, please disagree with me. Make it publicly known so I can laugh at your face when you're wrong. But I don't think Bitcoin, while I do think Bitcoin will recover, and I do think Bitcoin can go on another run, I stand by, I do not think Bitcoin will ever hit the high that it once had at 70-something thousand. So, and you're still maintaining your position, I'm assuming.
Yes, absolutely. I have not scratched that one off yet or brought it back up. 100% standing 10 toes down.
just off the top of your head, what do you think the next all-time high will be?
I think it'll cross and touch during the next bull run within the next 2 years, 95K.
95K. So, which, if we're keeping track of what people said, someone said it'll hit 100,000 by the end of the year. That was 2021.
Yeah, I was wrong about that one.
So I'm just saying, if we're keeping track, if I had my kingisms, Joe Laban says 95,000 yen, maybe.
I like it.
I think that's too high, to be honest. But Pookie agrees with you. He says it will bounce back. Pookie says, going on record, Pooks. Yes, thank you, Mike. That's the one I wanted to get to. So Mike in the Pop Culture Warrior chat says, do you have the note about Netflix? Let's discuss. I feel like that's a good pop culturism. Do you have the note? Which I feel like that kind of started this whole thing. Let's see if he can find the Netflix note.
All right, scroll.
I'm putting him on the spot, folks. He had no idea we were going to talk about this, but I figured he would enjoy it.
I can't. It's not on this phone.
Okay,
I've got that note on my.
It's on his burner.
Phone.
It's on his burner.
One of my burners.
his business line. His business line. But anyway, the point of the note was, I declared, I think Netflix will cease to be a thing.
That was our very first one that I saw.
That was the one where you almost, like, I saw it in your reaction. You almost fell down because you were just like, what? Like, you had such a visceral reaction to what I said. And I was like, yeah, I absolutely, the same way Blockbuster went by. But I did caveat, and I said, I think it's going to be like MySpace, where it still exists. It's just a shadow of its former self. Like, it will never be Netflix again, kind of like Bitcoin. It'll be a shadow of what it once was. This goes back years. I said this maybe 5 years ago. In fact, it goes so back. It was before the pandemic, because I remember we had set this up, and then I said, oh yeah, I see within 2 or 3 years it just tanking. Now, could have never envisioned the pandemic happen, right? There's no way you could have predicted something like that. Pandemic happens, and I swear it gave another like 5 to 7 years of life to Netflix because obviously now everybody was home streaming content because they literally had nothing else to do. So I said, you know what? I was wrong in the sense that I could have never predicted the pandemic. I still hold to the fact Netflix will eventually fade to a point where it is not the streaming juggernaut that it is today. Case in point, I hold to that. You guys can argue with me. You guys can tell me I'm wrong. I'm not. But, because do you have a pop culture show? All right, then. So obviously, I obviously know what I'm talking about because I have a pop culture show with tens of views on it. So I obviously know what I'm talking about. If not for pandemic, Tiger King would not have been as popular. I think it was a perfect storm to really push them through. But yeah, I think we've talked about this. They're losing subscribers by the millions. They've made the big, in my opinion, what's that like last gasp, that dying reflex of like, what can we do to they spent hundreds of millions of dollars to some of the biggest names in Hollywood. They gave hundreds of millions to Leo DiCaprio, to The Rock, to Ryan Reynolds to create movies for them, original movies and content. And don't get me wrong, it worked that they're bringing in numbers, but it's like how you can't keep up that pace. We've talked about this. You can't keep spending hundreds of millions of dollars when you're losing millions of subscribers to keep pumping out fresh content. And something like the movies that they were investing in, that's a one-off. That's a one-off. That's not gonna bring you returning business. I mean, I guess, yeah, you could sequelize it, you can make part 2, part 3, part 4, whatever. But I don't know. I just, I don't know. I think the writing's on the wall, but by all means, I'd share with the audience your take. Why do you think Netflix will continue to be the dominant, the Bitcoin of streaming services?
So, as you have your pop culture warrior, all right, your boy is educated with his MBA, all right, and studying and just looking at what Netflix has done, how they've made pivots from being a disc rental type things to then online streaming. I believe that the people that they have making the decisions at Netflix's headquarters level is keeping up with the times. Yes, they've had some competition with Disney introducing their own streaming service. You got Paramount Plus and CBS and all of this other stuff. But I think that Netflix is the king of streaming. They will make the necessary pivots that they need to stay relevant in that space, and you will still see them a decade from now.
I mean, again, and I don't think they'll ever go away. I do think they'll be around for a long time. I just don't. I think they'll be a.
You don't think that they're going to be the market leader?
I don't.
Ooh.
I don't. And I not only do I not think I don't think they'll be in like the top 3. Like I think they're gonna fall, and they're gonna fall pretty hard because, and like who said it? Somebody said it. Scott says Netflix originals are the only thing keeping them alive. The thing about it is that and we've talked about this, their whole business, like you said, first on DVDs and then eventually streaming, but their whole business was built on streaming other people's content. And now that they've established, I look at it like this. I remember MySpace. They were the social media. They were the first out the gate. They made social media thing, and Facebook went, oh, okay. And then they just did it better. I feel like Netflix opened the gates to streaming. They said, look, this is a viable business structure. You can make this work. And then all the other companies went, oh, money. I like money. And that's why you got Disney Plus and HBO Max and CBS this and Peacock that and Paramount Plus. Once everyone pulls all of their content back from Netflix, which 80% of it's already gone, like they've lost Friends and The Office, which were some of their biggest performers, all they're going to have left is Netflix originals. And at that point, what are some shows you love, right? What's some content you love? The Fast and the Furious movies. I know you love so much.
Yes.
When when you're like, man, I have too many subscribing channels, I have too many things. Are you gonna go to the service that has your love of Fast and Furious movies, or are you gonna go to Netflix, which is pumping out originals that they then abandon one season later? Where are you gonna go? As don't get me wrong, Netflix has done so good, and I feel like as a studio, they've really been pumping out some good stuff. The Adam Project and Don't Look Up, and like these are really great stuff. Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things, but they're not a studio. They don't have the legacy. They don't have the years in business of being a studio. They are a streaming provider, and I think it shows. And what's going to happen is once they have no content that's not their own, it's going to be glaringly obvious that people are going to go elsewhere. I mean, that's it is what it is. I mean, I don't know how else to make you see it, but Pookie says Amazon is the one to watch. Pete says Netflix is on its last leg. Pookie says you can subscribe to other services via Hulu. Hulu has the best setup. I have been watching a lot of Hulu lately. They got a lot of good stuff. Greg thinks that Disney will just buy Netflix. Like that's a whole other thing. We're not accounting for that. I want to put a stipulation in my Netflix hypothesis that didn't account for somebody buying them out and then just like wearing Netflix like a hat, right? Disney, I mean, that's kind of what Disney's done, right? Like Disney was like, oh, look, we're Marvel now. And they put on the Marvel hat. Oh, look, we're Star Wars now. And they put on the Star Wars hat. So there's always the possibility that Disney just buys Netflix and like, look, I'm a Netflix. And it just, you put the fucking Mickey Mouse ears on the Netflix logo. And like, that's just, they shut down Disney Plus and they just run it as Netflix, Netflix D or some shit like that, So that is a possibility, but I don't know. I don't see it. After Disney just bought whatever it was, Fox, I don't see them buying Netflix on top of that. But anyway,
one more pop culture related CQ. Let's see if you can recall.
Oh, please.
September 30th, 2020.
Ooh.
A CQ quote is as follows: "They are not going to go from GTA 5 to Red Dead Redemption back to the next GTA. They have so many other IPs." Do you remember that conversation?
Oh, we were saying that, and this was shortly after Red Dead, maybe like a year after Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. And we were arguing that the next Rockstar game would be GTA 6. And I do remember saying at the time, like, it doesn't make sense for them to go from AAA title to AAA title to AAA title in the sense of like GTA 5, which they've been milking for goddamn 12 years at this point. Then go to Red Dead Redemption 2 and then to go to GTA 6. I stand by that. I do. Obviously, we've heard of the leaks. We know GTA 6 is in the works. It's all, I mean, obviously it's all out there already. So I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not going to call it yet because until something is released, I'm not wrong.
True.
Now, if the next game that comes out is GTA 6, then yeah, I was wrong on that one. I can admit I was wrong if that's the case. I still think something will come out from Rockstar before GTA 6. I do. I believe it. Based on what was leaked of GTA 6, it looks half decent, but by no means is it within a year or two of release based on what they had. And that was before the leak, which now they kind of have to go back and maybe change some things because Pete says there was a GTA 6 trailer drop today. Don't say that. That's not funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sorry. Disney has been rumored to have been offered to Apple. Yeah. I read that. Disney was rumored to have been offered to Apple. So that was at a time, if I remember correctly, that was at a time where like because of the pandemic. Like they had, man, the timing on this couldn't have been worse. They had just basically finished the purchase of Fox, the entirety of Fox. We're talking the TV channel, the movie studio, the back catalog, the Nat Geo, like everything in its portfolio. They had bought the whole kit and caboodle. They had used damn near all of their money. Like they keep a pretty big cash reserve for emergencies. They like wiped that out because they're like, the park's drawing money, the movie's drawing money, we'll be fine. And literally like a month and a half later, the pandemic happens. And it hurt them bad. They might not say it publicly because of shares and on stocks and all that, but it hurt them bad. Shutting down the parks, shutting down the cruises, shutting down the movies, it hurt them bad. Which is, if you guys remember, that's why they rushed out the rollout of Disney Plus. Disney Plus wasn't supposed to come out for like 6 or 8 months, and they were like, "Fuck it, it's coming out now." And then the shows were supposed to be staggered. Like it was supposed to be like one new show like every 6 months or something. And they're like, "Fuck it, finish one show, launch the next one." And because that was the only way they were bringing in cash during that time, and it's probably the only thing that kept them afloat as long as they did. And there were rumors that they were being talked to being bought out by Apple and all these companies because, again, you never in a million years think that something like that could happen. And then a fucking national or worldwide pandemic hits, and it's like makes you question everything. But yeah, I mean, hey, they're still here, they're still operating, and their profit margins are through the roof. Like they just like doubled the ticket prices to all the parks, and everybody's like, okay, and like max out the parks. Like they're like, what? You can just do that? You can just go like, but yeah. Oh, and then again, okay, I guess they were talking about it again in 2010 too. Yeah, apparently those talks have been happening quite a while. So, yeah. What, King? Let me ask you, because I got a couple topics we can talk about. Well, we can just burn right through the break and then cut a little bit early. You want to do that, or do you feel like do you need a break and we can go to commercial for a few minutes?
Oh, dude, I'm good.
Okay, solid. We're gonna burn the midnight oil here. So I do have a couple things. Are we good with the CQisms for now? We'll have to check in, like
Yes,
once a year or so. We'll check in on CQisms. I feel like that should be a segment on this show, like CQism. I can have like a little list pops up and it's like boop 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 boop. Anyway, so me and Radar were talking before the Christmas break, and Avatar was just about to be released, and they were projecting $500 million. They're like opening weekend over 500 million. Like this is the projection. Let's see, the exact numbers were according to the latest box office projections, it's on track. This is pre-release. It was on track to gross 525 million opening weekend, hypothetically including 175 million domestic with another 350 million overseas. Now we said at the time that would be astronomical, and that would break records. That would break records easily over what were opening weekend box office numbers. And then when you compared it to its opening weekend back in 2009, it made $77 million opening weekend. So first question, have you seen Avatar yet?
I saw it over Christmas break.
Okay. General thoughts? Just curious.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I wish I would have went back and watched the first one so that I could then roll
Fresh in your mind
with the second one. I didn't do that, but no spoilers. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Fair enough. Eagerly anticipating the next one?
I am.
Okay. So, for opening weekends, I've done the research. For opening weekends, the current record holder is Avengers Endgame, which opened at 357 million. 357 million. Plus some change. Opening weekend. Now, that's why I said when they said 525 million, you're talking like that was 200 more than the current record holder. Do you happen to know just about where they landed?
I don't. I don't. But based off of what I saw
Hmm.
opening weekend, I don't think it hit Avengers level or anywhere close to it.
Yeah.
I take a guess of around maybe 90 something million.
So if you're going, 1 through 1,000, of movies opening box office, uh, they finished opening weekend in 37th position. 37th. Behind movies like Finding Dory, The Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn, even Thor Love and Thunder made more opening weekend.
Ooh.
Furious 7 made like 15 million more opening weekend than this movie. In fact, the only movies I mean, obviously there's a lot of movies they covered, but like the movies that they just surpassed were like The Batman, Suicide Squad, Deadpool, Frozen 2, Iron Man 2, and funny enough, Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick was 43rd. Some of these movies, and I think Avatar is in that realm where the opening weekend wasn't as strong, but I think word of mouth, people saying like, "Oh no, you need to go see this," like it bumped up their numbers, and then like they'll be first. Like there's this thing of like, a movie like let's say Black Adam, opening weekend #1, and then immediately just tanked after that, right? Whereas some of these movies where it's like opening weekend #1, and then week 2, and then week 3, and then week 4, and that's how they they build up this little nest egg. Because I think Avatar is going on like 3 weeks as the #1 movie. So, and that's how it was for like Top Gun Maverick and all that. So that's why they make a ton of money. But yeah, nowhere near the projected ranking. So this was what did I say? They were projected to do 175 million domestic opening weekend, and they ended up doing where are you at? 134. So they fell almost 50 million short domestically of what they hoped. And their total they hoped to have was what was it 525 million, and it was 446.
Still way higher than I said at a measly 90.
I mean, yeah. Wait, when you're saying just for comparison, domestically here at home, Avengers made $357 million domestically, not including the rest of the world. They cleared almost $1 billion opening weekend worldwide. So worldwide total, meaning domestic and international, they only made 400 million. Which again, they were projecting 525, so they fell that's quick math isn't my strong suit, but they fell about a little less than 100 million short of what their goal was. I mean, you got to think, is that bad? I mean, they made $440 million opening weekend worldwide. They're gonna clear $1 billion, and in fact, I think they did. This weekend pushed them over $1 billion. If I'm looking, let's see, worldwide, 2022. So they finished 2022 $40 million short of Top Gun Maverick. So Top Gun Maverick finished worldwide 2022 with 1.48 billion, whereas Avatar finished with 1.44 billion. Name the other $1 billion maker in 2022. Challenge.
Black Panther?
Not even close. It made 821.
Hmm.
Minions did more than Black Panther.
Oh wow.
What? Yeah. Come on, you can do it. I know you can do it. No, you can do it. You're not gonna do it.
Fast and Furious.
Joe said Morpheus. No, not even close. I would have accepted Doctor Strange because that would have been close, but not the $1 billion maker, Jurassic World Dominion.
That was 2022.
That was 2022. That was the start of 2022, early 2022. And it cleared $1 billion at the
Oh
box office.
wow.
Barely, literally like $1.0001 billion at the box office. So yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things I remember reading where they're like, they're gonna have to make $1 billion to break even on this movie, like to break even. So congratulations, they're 1.4 billion. So they've done better than what they needed to do. That's a dangerous gamble to play. That's a very dangerous game to play. But they did it. And then, in their back pockets, they've already said they've got part 3, part 4, part 5 already written and have started shooting most of it. So,
Man, have you ever thought about what it would be like to be like Chris Pratt or Robert Downey Jr.?
All the
These
time.
guys that are a part of billion-dollar IPs. Oh, that's got to be. How do you
Yeah.
not have your vault with your Scrooge McDuck, swimming money like just ready to go?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. All the time. All the time. All the
I
time.
want that problem.
I want all those problems. All right. A couple more stories for you. This one's fascinating to me. This one's fascinating. Do you remember Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes, but man, I haven't seen it in so long. I don't even
Remember,
remember what the plot was about.
classic high school kid Matthew Broderick skips school, goes on, gets his girlfriend, gets his best friend, and they go on just a wild day's adventure and go to museums and dance and sing in a parade, whatever. And then like the whole real anchor of it is that they borrow the kids. What was it? I don't even know. It was like Mercedes or Rolls Royce or whatever it was, but they borrowed the car. And they had this stupid idea that if they like drive it in reverse, the mileage will disappear, which is the dumbest thing. Figured a teenager would come up with that. Anyway, long story short, in a pivotal moment in the movie, he parks the car at a garage and they go about their business. And obviously, the garage attendants take the car for a joyride. That was a big part of the movie. And that's why the mileage was like crazy. Like they had to put on 10,000 miles all of a sudden. The reason I bring this up, a current show that's pretty popular, would you say? Cobra Kai, right? Pretty popular.
Yeah,
We
I
watched.
love that
Good show.
series.
Good show. So Cobra, I'm going to read you the story. Cobra Kai recently dropped its 5th season on Netflix, and the folks responsible for the series are going to tackle another fun follow-up to a cinematic classic, right? They took the premise of Karate Kid and made a whole thing out of it. That's how we got Cobra Kai. So they wanted to take another 80s classic and put a little fun spin on it. So they're looking at Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They're considering, and they're working on, I should say, they're not considering, they're working on a Ferris Bueller's Day Off spin-off with Paramount Pictures. Now, the spin-off is going to be called Sam and Victor's Day Off, which will follow the 2 valets that took the Ferrari. That's what it was. It was Ferrari. The Cameron's father's Ferrari. They took it on a joyride. So basically, they're going to go back to an 80s movie and basically film a wild adventure for these, because we never saw on film what happened. We just saw them take the car, like fly down the hill, and then later the car appears later, and it had like whatever it was, like 10,000 miles added to it. So they obviously had a fucking wild time with that car. So so this is what they released. So this is from the executive producers of the show and the writers. As far as the Ferris Bueller project, we are so excited about the project which we are producing. We have a great writer who's worked on Cobra Kai with us and who we love, and he has an awesome take on what we're thinking of doing. It's exciting to dip into the John Hughes universe, but see a side of the world that we haven't seen with these characters, Sam and Victor, who were the valets in the original Ferris Bueller movie. The 3 of us are suckers for side characters in general and love to see what's going on in their worlds. So that's going to be a fun one when we get to it. But that will not impact any Cobra Kai going forward. It's really about working on. They're working on another thing called Obliterated, getting through production there, and then figuring out the path with Cobra Kai. So, interestingly enough, in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the valets were played by Richard Edson and Larry Jenkins. Now, Jenkins passed away in 2019, but Edson is still actually a working actor in Hollywood and was recently seen in Rob Zombie's 3 from Hell. But they're obviously going to have to recast because you need younger actors to play these, guys that stole the car from 35 years ago. That being said, I'm curious with the success of what they did with Cobra Kai. In your mind, does that bank some credit to okay, you're basically going to do the same thing now with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You're going to take these side characters and make something about them. Does that, or are you still eh?
I think it's possible. I like the idea. Man, I think it's interesting that you're going to take these two guys that barely made the credits. They're probably at the lower part of the credits, may not even be
maybe 2 minutes of screen time. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then create this whole universe based off of that. But with the success of Cobra Kai and what they did with that and reimagining that and making its own thing, if the same people that worked on Cobra Kai is working on this Sam and Victor Day Off, I think that's what you call it, spinoff,
Mm-hmm.
then I think that this could be successful, and I'm willing to try it out. Give it a go.
I like that. You're such a positive guy when it comes to. That's one thing I like about you. You're very, very open and positive, where I can be sometimes a bit pessimistic about these things. But while we're on the subject, as for Cobra Kai, we're still waiting for news on a 6th season. There hasn't been anything announced yet. Some people are like, wait, wasn't it canceled? Nothing's official just yet. Earlier this month, however, Sony did announce, or I'm sorry, not earlier this month, earlier last month, they did announce, and this is the craziest thing, and I think we mentioned this earlier last month. They're bringing back Karate Kid. They're bringing a new Karate Kid movie in 2024. And this is straight from Sony Pictures. They're calling it The Return of the Original Karate Kid franchise. Now, obviously, as fans of Cobra Kai, that's a bit confusing because isn't Cobra Kai the return of the original franchise? Isn't that a continuation of the franchise? Well, lo and behold, the folks over at Cobra Kai have nothing to do with it, are not involved in any way, and have no idea what the movie franchise is going to do. So, how do you... it reminds me of what DC's doing with characters there, where they're like, yeah, I don't know, fuck it, we'll just, I don't know, make another Batman movie. I don't know. They're like, well, fuck it. It's almost like Sony goes, oh, Cobra Kai's popular? Fuck it, let's make another Karate Kid movie. And they're like, aren't the characters doing that? Yeah, who's gonna notice? It doesn't make sense. But yeah, so the creators of Cobra Kai confirmed the new movie has nothing to do with Cobra Kai whatsoever. So what Sony's planning on doing, and Greg hit on the head. If there's one thing Sony's good at, doing a piss poor job at their franchises.
Yes, Greg, absolutely. Who do they employ over there at Sony Pictures to make these stupid ass decisions? I don't get it.
Yeah. And Greg,
what are you listening to?
Greg, great point. He says Cobra Kai was a nice surprise. That doesn't mean we need to bring back the 80s. What's next? Weird Science, Breakfast Club, Goonies. Leave my childhood buried where it is. Yeah. Honestly, everything you mentioned, I could absolutely see them doing a remake, a retool, a whatever you want to call it, a woke remake, whatever. I just, man, it's just, you know, I see stuff like this. Okay, I'm gonna open the curtain a bit here. I'm gonna let you in behind the scenes. I see things like this, and some folk know I'm actively working on a little something. I've put a script together. I've shopped it around. I've had some conversations with some producers and some studios and the whatnot. And it is hard. It is incredibly hard to get something made. It's hard to have people say, I will give you millions of dollars to make this thing a reality so that we can put it out there. And yet, you got guys like at Sony going, fuck it, let's make another Karate Kid movie. Like, it just, like, just give me, I could, bro, probably a tenth of what they're probably going to spend on a Karate Kid remake, like a tenth of that. I can make what I'm trying to make, and I think it'd be good. I think it'd be good. Anyway. So.
Is it that much harder to break some type of original new type series versus having these big production or studios just take an IP and slap a new face on it?
I don't think it's
that much harder.
I don't think it's cheaper, right? I think cost wise it's the same, but when you're looking at risk, I think that's what it is. They go, what's a safer bet? Something that was successful, even if it was 35 fucking years ago. It was successful. And I feel like they go, well, like, we don't need to bring back the same actors, the same writers, the same directors. Just put the same-ish title, and they feel that's a safer bet than going with some completely new content. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I've had these conversations now behind closed doors. God, I hope it doesn't burn. I'm not trying to burn any bridges. Anybody that I have meetings with, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Keep doing up the great work. I'm not trying to burn bridges in Hollywood, but it just seems there's more hesitation to do things outside the norm. I'll tell you, what I'm working on is like nothing you've seen before. There are tropes, right? Because everything, it has its tropes for a reason. You know, like maybe there has to be a love interest, or the best friend was dead all along. These are all tropes, and like I mean, it's impossible to write something completely original because life has tropes. But that being said, what we're trying to do has never been attempted before, and I really, really think it's good and really could work and really could speak to a lot of people. But it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell when you're talking, like, when you're like, hey, we're gonna fucking tackle mental health head on. You know, we're gonna talk about, you know, veteran issues, and we're gonna, you know, in a fun way, you know, suicide in a fun way. It's a hard thing to sometimes sell, and yeah, it is what it is. But anyway,
for your show, would you ever consider some type of, and this is just me spitballing, just kind of asking,
please.
like a Kickstarter, indie type way of getting it funded and done? Is that something that you've ever even considered?
That's a great question. That is a great question. It's possible. If we get to a point where I have exhausted every possible option and every possible favor and knocked on every possible door, and it's just not happening, I would attempt some type of Kickstarter or something. I'd put up half of it myself. I'll take a third mortgage out on the house, and because I believe in it. I really do think it could be good. I really do think that it could change lives. And if we had to fucking, you know, shoot it guerrilla style and hire freaking local actors, we'll get some ASAP actors, you know, whatever we got to do. I think I'll call on the PCW family, the WTF Nation Radio family, to make it happen. I think we could, obviously it's a big difference, right? Where a studio writing let's say $5 million check, make this happen, versus like, hey, we raised $200,000 on Indiegogo, and then like you're gonna see, you're gonna a quality difference. You're gonna see it. I mean, ain't no way about it. You're gonna see a quality difference. But who's to say? Hey, remember, Cobra Kai started out on YouTube. Let's just remember that. I mean, if you do a good job and you make something good, I do believe, whatever it is, look at someone like Mr. Beast on YouTube, right? Like, make content, and if it's good, people will be drawn to it. I don't know. I mean, Heath says if it's porn, I'm in. I got a spot. I got a spot for you, Heath. I got the perfect spot for you. And I like Angry Elf says WTF Nation Studios. Hey, you never know, man. You never know. It could happen, but it's one of those things. Anyway,
Okay, cool.
I'm bringing up my own personal. We've turned this lesson to pop culture warrior and CQ bitches about what's going on. A couple more stories, and then we'll kind of wind down. I do have one because a good buddy of mine, Pete, I know you're out there, has asked me over and over and over and over. God bless you. You've asked me a dozen times because they had announced an Assassin's Creed TV show. And they announced it back in like 2020. And he always asks, hey, man, just like casually, like we'll be talking. Hey, have they announced, like, have they updated that? And I'm like, no, like nothing. They haven't said anything. Like, they announced it's a thing. And then it's just been ghost since. So I finally have an update for you. So I hope you're out there, Pete. I hope you're listening. He says, yo, I'm here. So Assassin's Creed, the Netflix show, the upcoming live action TV adaptation of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed video game series, not the best news, has lost its showrunner. So back in late 2020, like I said, Netflix announced that it was going to be developing a TV series based on the smash hit action adventure franchise. Since that time, both Netflix and Ubisoft have been tight-lipped about the show. Only thing that's come out is that, yeah, we're still working on it. Like, that's it. That's been their periodic confirmation that, like, yeah, it's still happening. Angry Elf just donated $1.99 to get the Kickstarter going. Hey, man, I appreciate you. Thank you. That's all right, here we go. $1.99 down, only like $199,999 to go. So we got this. We're on our way, baby. You're funny. So now the new update on the Assassin's Creed has finally come out, but it's not likely the news you want to hear. This was in a conversation with Collider. Jeb Stewart, who was originally tapped to helm the Assassin's Creed for Netflix, revealed that he has since left the project. Although this might seem like a cause for concern at first, Stewart didn't seem to indicate that his departure was due to any negative circumstances surrounding the series. Instead, he noted that the divorce was mutual and simply allowed for a new group to step in and work out their own ideas of what the show will look like. So I take that as he wanted to do some stuff. They were like, nah, bruh. And he's like, fine, I'm gonna head out. And, and like they couldn't come to an agreement on how to move the franchise forward. And so, yeah, so it's still alive, but kind of like on life support at this moment. And there's still no announcement publicly about what time period they're going to be working on, nor what actors are going to be involved, or really anything. Not a timeline of when they're going to shoot this. So sorry, Pete. I wish I had more news, but
hey, maybe they pivot. Give me an Assassin's Creed like the Yellowstone series. Cowboys and Indians, let's go.
Yeah. You hear that, Netflix? If you're looking for a guy, the actual King Smith wants a shot at bringing this to life. So hit up a guy if you need a guy. But all right. I think we've beat that horse pretty darn well and good. So your show, The Sports Bar, starting this week, if I'm not well, I mean, technically, I guess that's next week, right? Because Sunday starts the week. So technically, by nomenclature, by technicality, it starts next week. But this coming Sunday, really Sunday? Why is there a reason why Sunday night? I always assumed you would do it on a Saturday night. Is there a reason?
Personally, with everything else I have going on, I can make every Sunday live stream work without it being a huge disruption. Because to commit to doing a Saturday night stream, I have my certain setup. I like to travel and get out and do things, but I can make a Sunday night work, and also you can kind of culminate the previous week's sports news and things and have some stuff to talk about on a Sunday night. And people ain't doing nothing too much on the Sunday night. They getting ready to wind down, going to the next work day. So wind down with me Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on WTF Nation Radio.
I love it. Again, the pitch down and everything. Now here, you ready for the hardball question? I got the hardball question for you. You're pitching a show for the sports bar. You want people who are obviously into sports, and for about half the year, Sunday Night Football would be on at the same time. What do you tell those folks?
I tell them to watch your sports show on your TV and tune in to WTF Nation Radio on any additional screen or whatever that you have, a tablet, a smartwatch. If those things can televise YouTube streams or wherever you choose to watch this from, have us playing in the background. Us veterans people out there would like to have some love. So you know what? I'll take all the love you can get. If you're sitting on the toilet watching, I appreciate you. Just be sure to tune in Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I'll be there for you. I'll be with you. And realistically, I mean, you can watch football, have it muted, and be listening to the show. I mean, like you could be watching the game but listening to the show. I mean, you could do both. You could.
Yeah,
it's a great answer.
And I mean, I might have it on up as well. That way, if there's something pretty cool happening, right, I'm not going to be able to stream it because of
licensing and whatnot,
and things like that. But to be able to have a community to talk about the game or whatever, or just some type of really cool highlight that just happened, I think that's something that people would tune in for.
And it's kind of, now that I'm thinking about, I'm talking it up in my own head. It's kind of like watching the game with the guys, right? Like, because we're going to be talking sports and watching the game together. And like, again, and then if you have a fantasy league going, we could be actively talking about, oh, that puts so-and-so up at the top of the charts. And so I think that's a creative, fun way, an engaging way to do it live. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I think it's gonna be awesome. Is there anything you would like to say for, let's say, we might have had some people join the show late and didn't hear the spiel early, let the people know who you are, let them know what you plan on bringing, what you plan on covering, and just let them know, man. Let them know.
All right, so my name is King Smith, U.S. Air Force veteran, the best military branch out there in the world. I am excited to be joining the WTF Nation Radio team to bring on the sports bar. All right, we're going to be covering all things sports related, some highlights, some interesting news around the sports world, looking at getting on some interviews with some players, coaches, maybe even some local leagues around the area that I'm in, because they have different little semi-pro leagues and stuff around this area. And I think it'd be cool to kind of get them some shine to, show people, that are interested in sports that maybe like me, approaching 40 and still think that they could go out there like Al Bundy and throw 4 touchdowns in a single game. Definitely going to try and do all of that, get your fantasy sports news out there. And like I said, I think it'll be fun to have the listener league going, and that's one of the things that I'm looking to implement as well. So tune in, tell a friend, and don't let that be the end. Oh man, bars.
And aim high. One other, can I pitch a segment for your show?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know you're a bit of a gambler, man. Let's do some DFS. You could set up a line. You could set up a line right there live on the show, right? A lineup on your DFS, and they're like, all right, let's see how King Smith did last week. And you pull up that line and see how it did. And you can track wins and losses collectively with the, hold yourself accountable to see how your own advice is holding up.
Absolutely. Hey, look, it's no secret if you know me that I'm into daily fantasy sports. I've had varying success over the last couple of years doing it. I've hit some, pretty decent numbers and things like that as well. I'm pretty sure there's people out there watching who also does daily fantasy sports. So I'm looking at implementing that as well. Shout out to you for the idea. I'm gonna have to give you producer credits, man. Is that something that I can do?
I'll take it.
Producer?
I'll take it, man. I'll build a slide for you, and we'll put it at the end of the show. Oh shit, I had a really good idea, and I just fucking lost it. You got me hyped up on my own producer credit. I already forgot what I was gonna say. No, I think that's such a cool, unique thing. For the give them a tease. What's your best lineup you've done? What was the buying cost, and what did it end up winning?
Okay, I don't mind sharing this publicly, and I've got the receipts for it as well. I did a championship showdown series on DraftKings where I want to say it was either $15 or $20. One be a split of the top prize, which my cut ended up being like 15 grand.
Yeah. What was it, the total before the split?
It was the top prize would have been like it was either 150 or 200,000 US dollars.
And man, so it split so many ways.
But there were so many people that had the similar lineup because it was a large field entry tournament that my lineup was the same as several others. So, but they paid out right then and there. I was able to get that joint sent to my PayPal account. I accounted for taxes, and I was happy about it.
Very nice, very nice. If anybody's out there and they have some ideas of what they would like to see in a sports show, man, we'd love to hear your feedback. Obviously, this is a show that King will be the face of, and we got Coach running the background and participating, and it's gonna be a WTF Nation radio thing. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be quality. It's gonna suck at first, and then it's gonna get better. That's just how we do things. We learn on the fly, right? Like that's what we do. Let's be honest. It's gonna be great. King, you're a phenomenal host. I've watched. This is not the first thing you've done. You've done so many incredible things. You have your series Chats with Dads, which is so good and so inspiring. You do the crypto videos on crypto technology, even though it's all a scam and fake. You do those, which are highly successful and help a lot of people. You've done the divorce dads chat. You had the great series, Just Joking between you and Joe. I mean, so many great products and great projects you've worked on. I know you help produce other shows that you're not even the face of. So I have no doubt that this is going to be an incredible show, highly produced, well entertaining. You are absolutely a personality. I'm so sorry if it sounds like I'm blowing smoke. I am actually really excited for it. I think it's a great idea. I love it. I can't wait to bust your balls and tease you mercilessly and make fun of all your Kingisms. And I think it's going to be a great time. I'm so excited. Folks in the chats, if you have ideas, if you have questions, if you have ideas, if you have man, there's this, we need to talk about this or talk less about that, let them know. Be there, show up, watch the show, be part of the success of the show. That's what I love about our shows. Because there have been times where someone put in the comment great example. I forget who it was. I can't even remember who it was. But let's do an episode where we just watch trailers, and we did it. We watched an entire episode of just trailer after trailer after trailer, new, old, everything in between. So you guys are the leaders of this content, and we appreciate your participation. If you guys think WWE stuff should be a part of the sports show, maybe King has to start watching some wrestling shows. Who knows, or at least interview some. Let's bring in some WWE stars and interview some of them. They're athletes. So man, I think it's exciting. The sky's the limit. I think as much as the stuff you love now, I think you're gonna find really new things to love, just because of the fact of you doing the research now and learning the stories and doing all that. I'm excited, man. I think it's gonna be cool. So,
Oh.
Mr. King, do you have any final words before we shut this thing down?
No, CQ, first of all, thank you for having me on. I'm looking at the time that we've been on live, and man, this time flies. But like they say, time flies when you're having fun. So I'd like to thank you for having me on. I'd like to thank the station for allowing me to host this sports show, and to the community from Pop Culture Warrior or WTF Nation Radio in general that's in the chat now. Salute, shout out to you as well. And come on over and check out not just Pop Culture Warrior, not just the sports bar, but all of the other offerings that WTF Nation Radio produces throughout the week.
Yeah, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention also Radar's new show, The Smoke Pit, which is going to be another great show as well. So, yeah, so much good stuff. So, real quick, since I don't have my trusty handy dandy sidekick who used to do this all the time, what can we expect on an average week of WTF Nation Radio? So we've got the Monday edition on Monday nights. We've got Pop Culture Warrior Tuesday nights. We'll have the Smoke Pit Wednesday nights. Thursday nights go to Sergeant's Time. Friday Night Freedom on Fridays. For now, a Donza Day of no scheduled activities on Saturdays. And we will close out / start up the week on Sunday nights now with the Sports Bar with King and Coach on the Sports Bar Sunday nights. Super, super excited. I'll be tuning in. Catch me in the chats. Catch Pop Culture Warrior in the chats of the Sports Bar. I'm looking forward to it, man. Thank you for coming on. And yeah, we gotta let's go play some Madden.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. That's been it for another edition of Pop Culture Warrior. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you for tuning in. As always, come back next week. We're going to have the incredible guest, John Billingsley. Fantastic Star Trek actor, amongst other things. Great philanthropist. And he's really excited to come on. We're going to have a great conversation. Tons more interviews coming. Tons more pop culture news. Tons more surprise special co-hosts to be joining us every single week. If you want a shot at being my co-host here on Pop Culture Warrior, reach out, man. Fucking it never hurts. Take a shot. Take a shot, man. And this bubble could be you next time. Who knows? All right, guys. Signing off. We'll see you guys next week. Shots.
Doc! Oh, no! We're too late! We missed it! Oh, jeez, this is heavy. Ah, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc, I got a time machine. I'm just gonna punch in the coordinates. Pop Culture Warrior, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WTF Nation Radio. Now crank this bad boy up to 88 miles per hour.